Even more DynamicsCon learning and networking? Join us in person in Chicago, Illinois from May 13th to 16th for DynamicsCon, a legendary event featuring over 275 sessions across Dynamics 365, Dynamics GP, Power Platform, and our cross-product track. Check out the left menu bar for more details. Please welcome our heroic sponsor, Solver, and superheroes Tracy, Rich, and Rose Shah. Today, they will be presenting From Data to Decisions, Transforming Financial Planning and Analysis.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Data to Decisions, Transforming Financial Planning and Analysis, Solver's roadmap to extending reporting, forecasting, budgeting, and reporting beyond the finance department. My name is Tracy Rich, and I'm Executive Vice President of Alliances for Solver, and I'm joined by Rose Shah, our Senior Solutions Engineer. Our agenda for today, we'll talk who is Solver, why Solver for D365 Business Central, the architecture, a short demo, and then Q&A at the end. So Solver has been in the Microsoft space for a long time. We were founded in '96. We're headquartered in Los Angeles, California, and we have 15 offices globally. So for those of you that are multinationals, know that we have the reach to support you. And although we work horizontally, we do specialize in several verticals, including SaaS, nonprofit, hospitality, manufacturing, distribution, and healthcare. Now, our team has deep expertise in what's called extended financial planning and analysis, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We are also recognized as G2, and G2 is a leading review platform site that helps businesses make informed decisions for buyers that are looking for reliable feedback for solutions. And for those of you that need a solution that is both SOC 2 and HIPAA certified and compliant, Solver covers both of those. And we're on AppSource, and we're also transactable on the Azure Marketplace. So extended financial planning and analysis, you might have heard terms like CPM, corporate performance management. We are what's called extended financial planning and analysis. And really what that means is we go beyond the finance department. We are an all-inclusive suite. On the left-hand side, you'll see that covers budgeting, forecasting, what-if analysis for planning, reporting, both financial and operational, consolidations, including eliminations and currency translations, and ultimately allowing you to analyze your data with KPIs and dashboards to really make better business decisions. So what does that look like? From an architecture standpoint, Solver is on the Azure Marketplace. We're an Azure Data Mart or data warehouse, and we take data from Business Central. But you can see on the left-hand side, we can bring in data that goes across your organization. So whether that's Business Central, whether that's CRM, whether that's payroll or HR data, marketing, or even if you capture data in Excel or CSV, such as metrics or KPIs, Solver can bring all of that data in and structure and organize it in our data mart, really giving you that single source of truth so that ultimately you can automate all of your budgeting and forecasting, that planning process. It handles your financial and operational reporting, again, extending beyond just financial data, including consolidation and ultimately analyzing data to give executives and management and other stakeholders the information that they need to make better business decisions. Now, security is always really important, and just know that that is based on Azure Active Directory for single sign-on, and you can limit security by any dimension. So when people are logging in, entering budgets and forecasts, or reporting and drilling down, they're only able to access the areas of the organization that you give them access to. And note, they don't require a BC user license. And we're going to talk a little bit too about maybe that other data source is maybe you're migrating off GP or you're active in acquisition. Rose is going to talk a little bit about what Solver can do to help you map and migrate that data. And at the very bottom, you'll see that we make it really easy for you to get started quickly with Solver with pre-built connectors to Business Central. We have a marketplace with ready-to-use templates for the reporting, budgeting, and forecasting process, including Power BI, and an on-demand library that you can access videos for all sorts of training across Solver. Now, we also focus across industry. So for SaaS, construction, senior living, if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to get more industry-specific information on what we do to templatize both reporting, budgeting, and forecasting with accelerators that complement that library that I mentioned earlier. And for those of you that use Binary Stream, we're really excited that we're working very tightly in partnership with Binary Stream for subscription billing and also multi-entity management. So if you scan that QR code, you'll see that we have on-demand demos that you can take a look at, as well as collateral that you can download for more information. And I'm going to go ahead and have Rose talk about that mapping and migration capability that we have. So Rose?
All right, thank you, Tracy. And yeah, so just like Tracy mentioned, migrating to a new ERP comes with its own challenges, especially when we are looking to maintain completeness. We're looking to gain ongoing access to some of your financial history. So like you can see here in this architecture, Solver's data mapper helps you connect and preserve and convert all of your legacy ERP data with the new ERP data that you're going to continue to use into Solver's data mart right there at the center. And the output that we receive is the capability for you to be able to report on both your legacy GL data as well as for anything mapped into your new ERP. So using our user-friendly interface, you can easily map all of that legacy ERP data and those accounts, any other GL dimensions that you need into your new ERP structure. You can, of course, preserve that history from your old ERP so you can convert unlimited numbers of GL historical data to your new ERP. I've already mentioned that we can access reports for both the old formats as well as the converted data. And Solver does provide you with some pre-built reports out of the box for the migration mapper as well, so you can leverage some of those reports. We've got audit reports, we've got comparison reports for you to be able to compare your data and your dimensions. All right, and we'll go to the next slide. So with that, I'm actually going to dive right into a demo of Solver now that we've seen and talked a little bit about Solver. So you should be able to see the Solver homepage pulled up right here in front of you. So we are a cloud-based and a web-based solution. So to log into the portal, you'll just need your Solver URL with your credentials, and you're going to be signed into this beautiful homepage. What you're going to see as part of our homepage is any activity that you've been converting and using within Solver. So if you've got any workflow set up and you've been assigned a few tasks that you need to complete, you're going to be able to see all of that front and center as you log into the Solver portal. You can also see some of the recent templates that I've opened, including any reports, as well as any of my personal favorites reports and templates. Each user will have their own access to any favorites and any recents that they have clicked into once they are a part of Solver. On the left-hand side, you're going to notice the navigation pane, and this is broken out into the two major components that we focus on. So we've got the reporting side of things here for all of your financial, operational, variance analysis type reporting, and then we've got the planning piece here for budgeting and forecasting. So we're going to start off with our planning component here, and I'm going to click under the input template section. What we are going to be able to see here are all of the input templates and the templates that we've built from a budgeting and forecasting standpoint. You'll see that I've favorited a few of my special and favorite templates that I like as part of my budget process. Anything that I am building here within Solver, whether it's a planning template or a report, is using pure native Excel. So you don't have to learn any proprietary tools or solutions in order to build anything within Solver. You're leveraging all of your Excel skills, all of those formulas, the formatting, and the functionality that Excel provides right out of the gate for you to be able to build your budgeting templates as well as the reports within Solver. Aside from just the GL level budgeting and forecasting, Solver enables you to pull in data from multiple different data sources, giving you that capability to be able to budget at any granular level that you'd like, as long as we're pulling that data into our data mart. So I'm going to start off by showing you two quick budget templates. We're going to look at a template for payroll and personnel budgeting, which is typically pulled in from a payroll solution outside of the GL. And then we're going to look at a GL budgeting so you can see how that information ties in together to all of the reports that we're going to look at here in a second. So I'm going to click into my personnel template here, and what you're going to notice right out of the gate are a list of employees that I have pulled in from a payroll solution. You can see that I've brought in a list of fields and attributes that I'd like to see for a list of all of my employees. And I've been able to make changes here within these green cells on the fly. So if I want to be able to, if someone's leaving us and I want to be able to set their end months, if I want to be able to start budgeting for new employees here, you can see I've entered in hire dates. And all my calculations here subsequently calculate based on all the changes I've made to these different drivers. If I keep scrolling here, you can see that I have salary calculations. I've got compensation as a whole, including any tax calculations, 401k benefits, anything that I would like to pull in as part of my payroll budget at that granular level by employee. You can also see here at the bottom the specific GL accounts that this is hitting, so that we know every time we are doing a budget within Solver, what would these line items look like as part of our P&L and potentially balance sheet based on what area of the budget you're going to be working with. When I drop down these parameters here, you'll notice that these are filters that you can run this specific budget template for. So all I need to do as a user, if I have access to multiple different departments' payroll budget as an HR manager, I can come in here and I'm now budgeting for department 100. Alternatively, I can click into this magnifying glass here, and this gives me the capability to now run this report for another department. So once I select department 200, I get a list of those employees that I can now continue to budget for that particular department. So as and when I complete my budgets, I just go ahead and save my data within Solver, which commits it directly into the data warehouse, again, giving me that capability to be able to save my budget in here real time and review and view those budgets within the different reports, being able to compare it to my actuals that I'm pulling in from my ERP. And last thing I want to mention here is the capability for you to be able to create as many different versions and scenarios within this tool. So for those of you who are looking to do some what-if scenarios, some KPI-based specific planning, and you'd like to save those against different versions, you're able to create as many as you like within Solver. That would be right here under your different versions. As you can see, I have a list of few here. And every time you make a change, you are allowed to save it against a different version. This then gives you the capability to have your original stored against your original version. And every time you make a change, you can save it in the new version, and then you can compare these within the different reports that you might be building within Solver. So this is just a sneak peek of how it would look like to budget something outside of the information coming in from your GL solution. Alternatively, you of course have the capability to do any GL budgeting within Solver. You are also able to put in any comments as part of this process. You'll notice that I have a budget listed out here on a monthly basis, and I have some comparative information as part of this template to help all my managers budget a little easier. This capability can be so flexible in terms of having to change this within your different templates, where you can pull in as many different scenarios and as many different years of data that you want to bring in as part of this template. You'll notice that I have an existing budget already populated, and I just want to maybe go ahead and tweak it moving forward, but you can start off with a blank slate as well if you are looking to budget at that GL level. Some of the numbers here you're going to notice has a red triangle there in the corner, and some of them don't. The red triangle denotes line item details. So if I go here and click on the prompt at the bottom, you'll see that I can break this down a little further aside from just budgeting at the GL level. So if I want to put in some more details, for example, my marketing line item by vendor, I can see that level of detail, and I can also put in any detailed comments as part of this process. So this gives you a quick look in terms of how you're able to budget both at the GL level as well as something that's outside of that realm. We also have a workflow process inbuilt within our planning tool, which gives you the capability to automate the send of these different budget and forecast templates that you're going to be building in Solver for the users to then receive the templates within Solver, log into the portal, and come in and complete their budgets. The great part about the workflow is, one, you can track all the statuses and the changes that are made within the tool, and two, everything that the users are going to be entering in directly within these templates through the workflow gets saved and stored right away, so that you as a manager or an administrator are able to see all of those changes. Make sure you go through an approval process to approve all of those changes. If there is any rejections that take place, the users can come back in and make those changes. And like I said, all of that has an audit trail and is tracked within our activity log to be able to make any changes. And the last thing I'm going to mention here is all of the reports that you can build as part of Solver once you've completed your budget process. So I'm going to show you two quick reports here as part of the process. The first one here is one of our most popular variance analysis reports. You see the actuals versus budget comparisons as part of this report. I've got some charting and graphing capabilities, and I've also got some Excel-like formats that I've included as part of this template. I can easily expand into some of that detail that I might want to be able to see. And I can also drill down into the transaction level detail that I'm pulling in as part of this process. So when I right click into a number and I go into GL detail, you'll see the transactions that this is bringing up and pulling in as part of everything we're pulling in within the ERP, so I can hone in on those details as part of my reporting process. Aside from all of the financial and variance analysis reports you can build, if you're looking to build a little more high-level KPI style executive reports that maybe just your C-suite wants to come in and take a look at, there are some great dashboard style reports that you can build as well using Solver's Excel tool. Like you can see here in front of me, I've got a scorecard type report for Bill, who's my CEO in this case, and wants to review both financial as well as any operational metrics that I'm pulling in as part of this process. I can also drill specifically into any area of my business to see who's responsible for it, if there is any goals, targets, and I want to compare that against my actuals to be able to view that information. All right, so with that, I'm going to hand this back to Tracy. I hope this was helpful and it gave you a quick overview of what Solver can do for you. But Tracy, I'm going to hand this back to you to wrap it up for us.
Thanks so much, Rose. So Rose, that was pretty exciting because I think you showed us not just the financial capabilities, but really extending beyond that financial data so that organizations can really do all of their budgeting, their forecasting, their reporting in days, not weeks, with both our template marketplace as well as the more advanced planning and reporting needs. We replace all of those manual processes that you have, your budgeting, your forecasting that might be in Excel, and automate all of that so that with the right tools, you have more time to analyze your data, be data-driven, and have a single source of truth to make better business decisions and react quickly so that you can really embrace change, make better decisions, and automate, all with everything that we showed today within Solver. Now, we just gave you an appetizer, if you will, of everything that Solver can do. If you scan this QR code, you'll find all of the templates that we talked about in our template marketplace that can be used on day one for Business Central, as well as those industry templates that we referenced today. If you fall into any of those industries, it's really easy to be able to see what we can offer you and your company. And now we'll pause for questions. And we want to say a very sincere thank you for sitting in on our session today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. We'll open it now for Q&A if you have any questions for us. We have a question. Are there any limits on what sources of data could be used? There really isn't. You can pull in data. We have connectors already to just about every ERP you can imagine. And where we don't have a connector, we can leverage an API that source data. Sorry about the echo there. Yeah, so we have connectors to just about every ERP you can imagine. And where we don't have a connector, we have a SQL connector that you can pull in data from any SQL source. You can pull in from cloud, from Azure, Amazon, or give us a CSV file. So all those sources of data can be brought into the one data warehouse. Thank you for that question.
All right, I'll take the next one here, Mark. Can you tell us a little bit more about pricing and licensing options? So yes, absolutely. Solver is, we're an all-inclusive licensing and pricing suite. And what we mean by that is we've got everything included within the pricing. We've got a base pricing for the Solver suite, which includes everything related to reporting, planning, dashboarding, and then we've got 2 license types that you can use depending on the users that might need to log into the tool. And then you've got separate pricing for both of those licenses. So you've got a standard suite license, and then you've got a license price for every license that you purchase, depending on the one that you're going to purchase. All right. The next one here, what is the difference between Solver and Power BI? That's a great question. So Solver and Power BI, we go hand in hand. A lot of users use both of us together and think of us as 2 systems that complement each other. Power BI is a system used for your dashboarding, your visualization, which is what it excels in. So we don't really touch that realm of Power BI, but we really focus on the budgeting and the planning side of things down to that level of granularity. And of course, you being able to pull in data from all of these other sources. So the idea is that Solver houses and hosts your planning process, your reporting process, and then you take that information into Power BI and use that for your visualizations and dashboards. So we've got at Solver here a direct integration and connector to Power BI to help you do exactly that. And with Business Central, you get about 52 Power BI dashboards right out of the gate. So once you connect into Business Central, you pull that information into Solver. You've done your planning, you've done your budgeting, forecasting, and reporting. And then, of course, you take that information back into Power BI for those visualizations, for those dashboards that you can share with your C-suite, your executive level. And with that comes those 52 Power BI dashboards right out of the gate as well. All right, the next question here, when pulling data from other data source, is it real time or ad hoc based? What about exporting budget to Business Central? So when we pull data from all of your different data sources, it sits into the Solver data warehouse on a scheduled basis. So typically on a nightly basis, we pull in information and we refresh that information from Business Central. If there are any other data sources that you'd like to pull in from as well, that schedule will be up to you. So you can determine how frequently you want to be able to pull in and bring that information from either Business Central or other data sources. The GL information is refreshed, of course, a lot more frequently than any of the other sources of information that's coming in there. But Again, that's something you can determine when pulling that information into Solver in terms of how frequently you want that to be. There is also an on-demand refresh. So you as a user, if you've got the access and the authority, you can always go in within your integrations in Solver and just run that integration to be able to get that instant, real-time kind of data pulling in from all of your different sources. And the second part to that question, in terms of exporting budget back to Business Central, right now it will be a export file that you can build out of Solver, which you will directly import into Business Central to pull in that budgeting information. However, I will tell you that it depends on what that use case is for budgeting. I know a lot of people coming into a system like Solver usually have the notion that budgets need to go back into the ERP. However, once you start using Solver, we usually get rid of that piece for you there, because the idea is for Solver to be that single source of truth. So really, what would be the need for you to take that budget back into your ERP? Since you already have your budgets within Solver, you've got your actuals flowing through, you'll house your reporting within Solver as well. So the only real need to take the budgets or, the actual somewhere would be solutions like Power BI, where you start to extend that functionality, but not really back into your ERP if there is no need.
And I think we've just got a couple minutes left, so we can probably take another question. But if others would like to join us, we're going to head over after this to the BC breakout room, so we can continue questions there. And just back to this question on pulling data and the data source, and is it real time? Like Rose mentioned, you can schedule it, you can do it ad hoc, and we do support a Delta load on BC. So you'll find that when you do an ad hoc, it'll run really quick because we're only pulling in change transactions for BC. So it's very quick. We got time for another one.
Yeah. And there's one more right here. Can you speak to the ease of use of someone with no real reporting knowledge, but an idea of what they want to build a report by themselves? Yes, absolutely. So Solver uses pure native Excel to be able to build any of these reports. So everything that you saw as part of this recording today was, those reports that you saw, your regular financials that you might want to build, any variance analysis or operational type reports, any templates that you want to build from a budgeting and forecasting standpoint. All of that was built in Excel, right? So the idea of having to build anything in Solver is very, very intuitive and easy, because you're using your pure native Excel capabilities, your features, your formulas, the functionality that already comes out of the box with that. All we're doing for you is adding in the Solver, the Solver database there on the Excel front end for you. That way you're referencing and using the data that we're pulling into the data warehouse. So it's the most up to date and real data that you're working with. But in terms of designing the report, it's your regular Excel feature functionality. There's nothing proprietary that you need to learn, no specific formulas or functionality. So, you can get through that report designing training pretty quickly. We've got something we call the Solver Academy, which we give to all of our users purchasing Solver. And that really trains you on self-learning, self-training, self-paced learning. If you want to get to a reporting certification within Solver, if you want to learn how to build basic reports, basic templates, that's all part of the Solver suite as well.
Yeah, I think we're at time. So we're going to go to that breakout room, but we want to continue on that question that you just had. So I can't see your name, because you also offer something called ad hoc reporting that makes it really simple for someone to pull together a quick report without even having to go into Excel. So we'll see you over in the breakout room. Thank you, Rose, for the demo. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
See you all. Bye.